Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic, but he's a good guy. Oh, Sonic, but no red eyes. Sonic, but not evil. Ooh. Sonic the Hedgehog is a pretty good character. I mean, you would expect him to be, right? He's the main guy. He's the face of the game. It would not, like, make sense for him to not be a good character. That would just be kind of stupid. He's pretty fun to play, very good to play, very easy to play too. I honestly didn't have any problems playing with him the first time. He's actually pretty easy to understand, especially with his, just overall. He just has a generally good kit. He's pretty easy to play, pretty hard to counter at most times, and he's just overall fun. I like playing him. He's not the worst, and he's not my favorite, but he's just good. He's just really, really good. That's all I can say. He has pretty good stunning capability, more, better stunning capability than Tails or Knuckles, and although his stunning is pretty easy to dodge, if you're using it from a far distance and then you come out of nowhere, then it's harder to dodge. Now let's get into his 3 passives. Gee whiz, this guy's stacked. He has 3 passives total. Well, I mean, can you really call the dodge bar a passive? I guess it's not technically a passive, it's just something built into his kit. I mean, I consider it a passive. Anyways, he has a dodge meter, which allows him to dodge a certain amount of attacks from the Executioner. I don't know if this scales with how much damage the Executioner does. I think that would make a lot of sense, because from testing, I've seen the bar go down more when the 2011X is in Rage mode. It's pretty hard to differentiate. But usually, when you have your dodge bar, you can dodge about 3 hits from a regular 2011X, and if they're in Rage mode, you can dodge about 2 hits. So, yeah, be super wary about that. It's not that hard to get your dodge meter back, if assuming, you lose all your dodges, which I'll tell you in a minute. And then, of course, he has Unstoppable, same with Knuckles, meaning that he can stun the Executioner and prolong the stun for even longer, whilst they've already been stunned, which is pretty nuts, especially given the stun that he has. And then he also has Guilt, which, when he is the last man standing, he will take significantly more damage, meaning that you are in a quite bit of a pickle. So don't let the Executioner touch ya. That's when it comes to a point where stunning is quite risky, so you have to be very precise and very sparing with how you want to play the character when it comes to last man standing, at least. It's not that hard to win a last man standing as Sonic, but if you just, spam stuns, then you might have a bad time. Unless the 2011X just sucks, that's just, there's always options, right? There's always alternatives. I'm just saying, like, from a general point of view, if the 2011X is competent enough, they're probably going to kill you. So, that's just what I'm saying. Now let's get into his stun, which is his drop dash. It allows Sonic to enter, a little spin dash form, and then he can spin dash into the Executioner, which stuns him. You can spin dash into them once, that'll stun him for 1 second. You can spin dash into them again, it'll stun them for longer. And then when you spin dash into the Executioner for the 3rd time, it'll do a little spin dash animation into the Executioner's body and stun them for even longer. It's always important that you stun them about 3 times. Like, you hit them with a drop dash 3 times. You don't want to just hit them once, because that would be really stupid. I mean, you're stunning him for like no time. And this is also how you get your dodge meter back. Every time you stun him, you'll get about 10 dodge meter back. So if you do the 3 stuns, you'll get 30% of your dodge meter back, which is pretty good. So yeah, very, very important that you always consistently hit them. If you don't, you're gonna have a really hard time, because you won't get dodge meter back, and also you'll be failing your teammates by not stunning the Executioner for a while. So, don't make yourself look bad. This move really is not that hard to hit. Not that hard to hit at all. But it also really isn't that hard to dodge. All you have to do is jump. But usually, you want to just catch the Executioner off guard. Maybe just wait until the Executioner jumps, and then you can, drop dash and catch them off guard. Hit them with that good old drop dash, get a good stun in. Sometimes you can just phase through their bodies. I've noticed that bug like a lot. Not just from me, but also from like other players that I played with. I don't know if that's a ping issue, but that's just something I've seen like a lot. You'll just drop dash and then phase through the Executioner's body when you hit the first stun. I hope this gets fixed in V2, because that sure as hell would suck if that continues to stay a thing. I think the best way to play with drop dash is usually to use it from afar, because you have a lot of time. Like, you're in the drop dash for a very long time. The drop dash only ever ends after a certain amount of time, or when you stun the Executioner for a 3rd time with a drop dash. So you can be in there for a long time, meaning that even if you miss your stun, you can just use it as a way to get away, and you also can't get hit whilst you're in the drop dash, at least from like a general point of view, I've tried to hit, Sonic's while in drop dash, and I've tried to get hit by 2011X as while I'm in drop dash. And from the looks of it, it kind of gives you invulnerability. That's just from a general point of view, right? But now into his next move, which is peel out. This is not a stun. For all of you out there, this is not a stun. You cannot stun with this ability. This is a method of movement and for support. You can use peel out to start running in place, which is how you build up momentum and speed. You'll run in place for a couple of seconds, meaning that you should not do this near the executioner, as you are very vulnerable in this state because you are standing still. You're running in place. And after you finish doing that, you will then burst and start running in the direction that you're facing. So, hope you have good control over your camera. And then you can use this as a way to pick up any survivor that is an Eggman or Metal Sonic. And you can also use this as a way to revive players. So once you run into a revived player, then it'll automatically revive them and also put them on your back. So you can use this as a way to help your teammates, get around the map, and also to help your teammates get away from the executioner, if assuming they're being chased. It's very good ability, very good for, movement in general, and very good for getting your teammates to the ring whenever it opens. So, it's nothing bad about it. I have nothing to complain about it. It's pretty punishing if you use it near the executioner, but can also be a good method of escaping the executioner. If you're at like a high leverage and the executioner is taking a long time to get there, you can use it before they get there and, get away. Or if you have the, the dodges to endure whilst you're, using the peel out, it's perfectly fine. I think Sonic is a very strong, survivor, but can be very easily countered simply just by jumping. That's pretty much it. You can jump whilst you're in the drop dash as well, but usually 2011X's jump is higher than the drop dash's jump, so you would have to get very lucky, usually with ping. Ping issues will never not be the death of some people, which really sucks. But yeah, that's all I can really say about Sonic the Hedgehog. I think playing as him, he's really not that hard to play. Just don't always spam your stuns immediately. It's better to just use your stun when you know there's no other stunners around. That way you can defend more efficiently. And usually it's not really recommended to immediately try and stun, especially if you have dodges, because you want to, usually save your drop dash so that way you can get some stuns in when you don't have dodges. That way you can refill your dodge meter. So that's usually when it's the best time to use your drop dash, because then you can trade back. You can take a bit of hits, lose some dodge meter, and then drop dash immediately after. And then if you want, just peel out away from the executioner. Because usually by the time the executioner is stunned, you can peel out and then you'll have enough time to get away. So it's really not that hard to play as Sonic, And then playing against Sonic, I mean, if you get him down to his last life at least, then you don't really have to go for him anymore. You can just wait until it's last man standing because, again, Sonic takes double damage in last man standing, which means it'll either be much easier for you or much harder for you, depending on how good you are as an executioner and how good the Sonic is, which usually isn't always, favor to the Sonic, because honestly, Sonic can have a pretty hard time by himself if the executioner just jumps when he tries to drop dash. And he can't really use peel out because if it's in last man standing, you're going to be on top of him the whole time, unless he just drop dashes away from you and just refuses to stun. That's usually what I do for last man standing. I just drop dash away from the executioner rather than try and go for a stun, because usually it's not always worth it, especially when they can just charge you or just use God's Trickery or go invisible. There's always just counter plays, which is what sucks. And even then, they could still probably get enough distance on me, even though I drop dash far away from them. Again, because of God's Trickery or invisible. It's you don't really have that many options. But yeah, that's all about Sonic. And I'm done with survivors for now until the V2 drops. So yeah, thanks for watching. Bye bye.